Welcome to my financial reset for July, where I'm going to walk through everything that I spent in June, break down what went well, what didn't go so well, as well as reset my budget for July and share my latest net worth with you. If you are new here, my name is Caro and I create personal finance, budgeting, and lifestyle videos. I live in Portugal with my husband. We are a dual income household with no kids and no pets. I work part-time and my husband works full-time, and I cover certain expenses and he covers the others. We are investing quite aggressively at this point in our lives so that we can become financially independent. And if you're not sure what this means, it's when your investments can grow big enough that if you withdraw, say, 3 to 4%, you can live off that as an income and it covers all your basic needs. We are hoping to get there in the next decade, and we are also hoping to buy our first home once we figure out where we're going to settle. So if you're interested in following along on our journey, then feel free to hit the subscribe button. So let's jump in to see what happened in June. If we have a look at June, we have an opening balance of 1,208 euros. And this is the amount of the paycheck that comes from my end of May salary. My salary covers 2 portions of my budget. So they run over 2 different months. And to explain it in a really simple way, I get paid on the 22nd, 23rd, or 24th of the month, and my budget is split into 2. So the money that I get paid on payday covers me from payday until the end of the month, and then the rest rolls over into the new month, which you can see here being June. So this is actually majority of my May paycheck. And then this money here needs to cover me until the next payday, which will be around the 22nd to the 24th of June. So that's the way that I manage my expectations for what I need to cover, as well as how I need to manage the amount of money that needs to be covering each portion in the 2 different months that it spreads over. I have tracked every single euro that I've spent from the 1st up until the day before I got paid. This month in June, I got paid on the 22nd. So in this case, it was the 17th, was the last transaction. And everything that I spent from the 1st to the 17th totaled up to 1,125 euros. So I had 83 euros left over from that cycle. Now what I'm going to do is put in my income into the spreadsheet that I got on the 22nd of June. And then I'm going to quickly categorize the rest of my transactions for the rest of June, so that we can have a look at the whole of June and see what happened with the spending. Okay, so as you can see, it's incredibly quick to use, and that's why I love my sheet. The first thing I'm going to look at is what we actually spent this month. Spent 502 euros on groceries, and I was hoping that was going to be a little bit less, but it was less than what I thought we were going to spend. We normally budget 550 euros for groceries, and coming down by 50 euros is pretty great. Then water is pretty normal, internet and phone 74.69, electricity was 101, that's pretty normal. And bank charges were a little bit higher this month, and it's because I bought something overseas outside of Portugal that I then paid higher bank charges for, specifically this challenge that I'm busy doing on short forms. I'm okay with the amount of money that we spent for what I cover in the necessities category. And then I always put away 400 euros into savings every month, specifically investing in ETFs at the moment. And this month is quite an exciting month because I opened my Trading 212 account, and I'm going to be talking about that a little bit later. And then over in the guilt-free category, this is the money that we can have fun with, invest in ourselves, spend money on things that make us happy and experiences and things like that. So subscriptions, 21.97, that's been a constant for the last few months, which is great. Gym memberships, this is for both my husband and I, we pay 38.40 a month. I bought one book this month for 17.60. We went out for coffee twice, and that came to 9.30. I bought some gardening things this month, so that was 21.26. And then I mentioned earlier that I bought a challenge called the Yap Challenge, which I'm doing over on short form. So if you're interested in seeing what I'm creating there, I'm on all the platforms: Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, Threads, and YouTube Shorts. In terms of the goals that I set, I use the 50-20-30 rule. I can change these at any point and they will update depending on what color they'll end up being. Over here dictates if I'm on track or not. So I'm a little bit behind on the savings, but that's fine. Putting away 400 euros of a 1,400 euro salary is plenty for me. Also, this percentage is looking at all my income and not just my paycheck. So it's a little bit skewed. I spent 27.69% on necessities, 15% on savings, and 13.8% on guilt-free. And that came to a total of 1,491 euros. And I have 1,134 euros that is going to roll over into July. So once we jump into the July sheet, we can see that the 1,134 euros has pulled in already. Now I'm going to share the portion of my spreadsheet where I use it to budget for the following month. And like I mentioned earlier, my paycheck covers 2 portions from payday to the end of June, and then it covers the first 22 to 24 days of spending for the month that we're in. So up until the 22nd to the 24th of July, these are the expenses I know are going to come up, the things I know I have to cover. This is not budgeting for any things outside of these categories, but I know that I have peace of mind that I'm going to cover these things. I also know what's left over. So let me explain. I put away 400 euros on the 1st of every month, and that's a non-negotiable. I put aside 300 euros for the first portion of the month for groceries, then $8.99 for a subscription that comes off, bank charges. These are our monthly bank charge fees. Anything above that, I'm expecting to have to pay with each purchase that I make, but I can't really predict what that's going to be, so I just stick to $4.50. We get charged for our gym memberships twice a month, every second Thursday, so I know that one will always fall in the first portion of my budgeting and one will always fall in the second. Then internet and phone is $74.69, so I can put that in to the cent, and then another subscription comes off. So over here you can see a little list of things that I know will pop up in the second part of my budget. So these are things that are actually covered from my July paycheck, and what that means is that I don't actually have to worry about those yet. So that's why I haven't put them into a category over here, because I don't want to see those things yet. Those don't need to be covered by this portion of my pay slip. And these add up to 810 euros, 379 on necessities, 400 into investments, and 31.18 into guilt-free. And so I can see that I will have about 324 euros that I can spend on other things. So that could be maybe putting petrol in the car. Sometimes we need to do that. We don't do it every month. Maybe I know that our electricity bill might be a little bit higher this month because it's crazy hot and we need to use our AC more than we normally do. And maybe we'll take the train somewhere and buy a train ticket, in which case that will also pop up. But I have 324 euros to work with. I know things are going to pop up. I don't know exactly what they're going to be because it depends on what we land up doing, but I know I've got some money put aside for that. And that's basically how I use my sheet to budget. It's a really simple way to do it, because even if you get paid twice a month, you can break down your budget into the sections from when you get paid to your next pay slip, and then the next portion from when you get paid until the next pay slip. So it's a really great method of working out what you need to have to cover your basic needs. So let's jump into my net worth tracker now and see how that's going. So I always start out with adding in my cash accounts, and this month I actually decided to open a new one. I've moved most of the money that was in the cash account into a new money market select account where I'm going to earn more interest on the amount of money that's sitting in there, and that's kind of like a high yield savings account. And then I left some of the money in the other account, which you can see here is now 71,500 rand. Then for my Allan Gray balance fund was 198,478. My stable fund was 28,575, and the equity fund was 119,435. For my coronation investment, this was 82,509 rand, and then I consolidated all my tax-free accounts into one, and that one is now sitting at 265,000. My husband and I have some joint accounts, and we also have our own accounts. Everything that I've mentioned up until this point were all in my name, and they're all sitting in South Africa. This account here, the Interactive Brokers account, is split with my husband, and we split those down the middle. So the Interactive Brokers account is all ETFs, and they are invested globally. At some point, I'm going to do a video all about what we've invested in that account. Then the next one is a shift account, which is going to be travel money, and I'm going to use that money on a trip when it comes up. Once that's spent, that's going to be disappearing and probably never used again, and technically it shouldn't be in here, but for some reason I started tracking it, and that's sitting at 35,434 rand. And then the next account, the Millennium Savings Account, is our Portuguese version of a high yield savings account. And that is where our emergency fund money is sitting, as well as the money that we've put away for taxes. Because we pay taxes once a year, and we put that money into a fund that can at least earn us some interest while we wait to pay the taxes. Our value of our car, this again is halved with my husband, and it's about 220,000 rand. I put everything in rands just to make it simple for me to add up. So after putting 400 euros into my Trading 212 account, I quickly added that into my spreadsheet after I realized I had forgotten it, and my total net worth is just over 228,000 euros as of the 1st of July. And just a little bit of background on why I opened this Trading 212 account. As I mentioned earlier, the ETFs that we are investing in with Interactive Brokers is a joint account with my husband, but I'm really trying to upskill myself in ETFs and buying different ETFs compared to what we're buying over there. So I decided to open a separate account that I can also share everything with you guys on this channel and on my short form videos. That's everything that I do to set myself up for a good month financially, tracking everything that goes through our bank statement every couple of days and making sure that we are putting enough money into our savings every month to hit our goals. I hope this video inspires you to perhaps track your spending the way that I do, and gives you an idea of how simple it can be so that you can also work towards your financial goals. If you enjoyed the video, give it a like and hit subscribe so you don't miss the next one.